another episode of Conversations of Change. Today we are being joined by Dr. Anamika Biswas in Climate Asia for another episode of Conversations of Change. So first I'll start by introducing Climate Asia, which is a social enterprise dedicated to strengthening the climate ecosystem in Asia through the capacity building of organizations focusing on human resources, organizational development, and thought leadership. Climate change is going to cause a massive shift in the fundamental functioning of several industries. Climate Asia is a new initiative bridging the gap by working with direct and indirect climate actors and organizations across the spectrum in various sectors. We will accomplish this through strategic HROD support, a digital platform to address HR needs, information dissemination related to climate funding, events and news, and thought leadership in the form of convenings, conferences, panel discussions, and dialogue building. We have launched the Conversation of Change, a video interview series centered around one of the most pertinent crises of our times, climate change. Conversation of Change attempts to synthesize perspectives around climate action, skills, talent, and journey of various climate leaders and their role in the climate ecosystem. Today, we are fortunate enough to be joined by Dr. Anamika Biswas, who has 30 years of experience in teaching and industry and has worked with numerous organizations across the globe. She was former deputy director at SAARC Cultural Centre, Colombo. She has published a book, Ramkinker Baij, His Lifetime in Art, more than 8 papers in UGC-approved journals, 2 fellowships, and conducted 1 international and 3 national conferences. Dr. Anamika's professional experience began as a project associate with ICOM, a body of UNESCO, which then arrived at the role of deputy director with SAARC Cultural Centre. During this journey, she had developed herself into an innovative thought leader and research-based technology-oriented program manager. She has broadened her horizon from a corporate organization level to South Asian regional level. She has served as senior consultant and head research with NIIT Limited, program director with IGNCA, deputy head of academics, and associate professor with Pearl Academy, and subject matter expert for National Institute of Fashion Technology, Delhi, Kolkata, and Bhubaneswar campus. She also has earned her doctorate in History of Art from the National Institute of History of Art, Museology, and Conservation, Delhi. So, Dr. Anamika, thank you for joining us. First, I would like to start with asking you a question about the work done at MIT-World Peace University and what your role as the Director of Faculty of Sustainability Studies looks like.
Thank you, Preetha, for such a vast and expensive introduction for me. So thanks a lot. And of course, at MIT-WPU, as I have joined as Director for Sustainability Studies. So the Sustainability Studies is about sustaining the everything. So when we talk about everything, it also means the systems, it also means climate, it also means, life starting from a worm to the entire, universe. So the horizon here is very vast. So we are talking about public health. We are talking about here environmental changes, and we have a master's program in public health, masters in public health. We have a program in masters in environmental studies. We have a program in masters in social work. We also have a program in rural development. So in this case, the sustainability has been seen as a holistic approach. So if we train appropriately all the streams, as even NEP 2020 is also talking about, the sustainability and environmental studies should be a credit program to all the streams. So that's what we are implementing here. So that is the cause, the one of the core activity as a sustainability faculty we are doing, that each and every stream should be given a 2-based or 3 credit program regarding what is sustainability, what is environment, and so how the climate change is changing or impacting life wherever you are, even if you're a teacher, even if you're an engineer, even if you are a doctor, how it is important to adapt and bring into your life. That is the perspective we are taking here at MIT-WPU.
So before I start talking about what advice would you have as a professor and somebody who has had a big role, played a big role in the lives of young people, I would like to know, how did you expand your horizon from a corporate organization level to a South Asian level in your 30 years of teaching and industry experience? What were your key learnings?
I would say my key learning is one that which I keep telling students that do not have those blinkers around your head that just belong to this particular industry. I have only this skill set, so I should not be doing this particular job. I should not be jumping into the other stream. So one is that keep away the blinkers, and with the 21st century skills which we are having, EQ, IQ, and even SQ nowadays, very important. So we have to merge. See, we have to see life as 360 degrees. So that's why keep these blinkers away, that I belong to a technology and I'm a non-technology person. A human has tremendous capacity. So I have learned not to have blinkers. I have learned that I can always learn new things. Another thing which I have learned is that if you take risk, you are always a winner. So I have never lost any, battle when I have tried to do something which was not my core skill. So this has to come along. And, as a learner or as a practitioner, when I learn from the other streams, I can see my own core area also from a different perspective. So that learning has to go into the students, that whether you are good at engineering, or you have chosen engineering, mechanical engineering, you should also be knowing about the design, how design is impacting, or design can impact engineering. Even if you are a doctor, you must be understanding how engineering is impacting your life, or how environment is impacting your life, or how you can impact environment. So those things are the key learnings. One is that no boundaries. There should not be boundaries. There should not be hesitation. Be a risk taker and be always a learner. And you can go ahead far, 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 even you can't imagine. And I never thought that my journey will reach there.
So, do you see many risk takers in this field, especially when it comes to you looking at everything from an institutional lens? So, do you see there are problems in capacity building and knowledge transfer now that you've given this individual advice?
Capacity building can be a problem or can be a challenge. And whenever there is a challenge, it means you have an opportunity. So the moment you see a problem, I would restate it. It's a challenge, and challenge means you have opportunity. So there are always many opportunities for capacity building, and there are many, because if you look at the industry, they say we do not have upgraded skilled workforce which is joining us. And you look at universities, they are talking about, oh, we are not getting enough opportunities for our freshers. So this gap is there, but what is the solution to bridge it? Of course, this has been from last 20 years, 25 years. I'm listening that we create industry based, industry tested, industry validated curriculum that has been there. But of course, for that, what I believe that internships are very important, areas, or internships are one of the key areas from where, a learner can go into themselves. They can themselves realize that how his academic is different from the professional life, and they can judge. And nowadays with the information technology, of course, we are expecting too much from the young mind, but of course, these young minds are very smart. They're intelligent. So they can also understand where the gap is. And they can also, with multiple internships, there should be multiple internships, so students can understand where he wants to go, what kind of a job profile is he fitting into. Within a stream also, there are many roles, so where they would like to fit in, and they can always upgrade. There are many, now MOOCs are there, a lot of online courses are there. They can upgrade themselves. So I think these are some of the new tool or technologies which are helping the youth to be ready for future. That what I see is very important role which technology is playing. But at the same time, a guided technology is required. That's why one is very importantly has to be enrolled or has to be guided, mentored by the appropriate people. So either the students have to be aligned with the industry who's guiding them, or they have to be aligned with the university who can then put them on the right path.
Right. So this was the advice for young people who are just starting out. But what kind of advice would you have for mid-senior, mid-level, senior level, somebody who wants to transition into the climate space or sustainability space?
I have a very simple thing, because when I look at sustainability, or for my own case, when I look at it, I was also a little confused why I'm going into sustainability, how it is going to help me. But of course, it has opened up my eyes that how sustainability as a person, individual, I've been already using. And can I, use this sustainable method as a group level, as a community level, maybe at a even at institutional level, I can do that. So all of us people who are living traditionally, or we have seen our traditional, two generation before, people, they were using a lot of sustainability, methods, sustainable methods. So they were doing it. We can implement them here. Now about that, how the transitioning happens. Transitioning is about, again, learning. And what I see, that anybody who's transitioning in the mid career and they're moving towards sustainability or climate change, I think the future belongs to them. This is the right path, because whatever said and done, if today we are not, learning about it, we are not upgrading ourselves, we will never practice it. And if we will not practice, we are losing the planet. So this is the call of the time. This is the, definitely the last call is, right now going on. And we must, participate in that, whether as changing our careers or within our streams, we should, utilize or put in the sustainable efforts or the sustainability learnings. That is the, urgent call of the time.
So I think for the your advice is very similar to what advice you would give to young people and mid-management level. But I'm very curious to know what the climate space would have looked like 30 years ago, when you just started your journey as a project associate, and how has it changed now? What challenges do you think we have now that we didn't have before?
I would say that we didn't, when I started as a, project associate. So first, for me, it was very delightful experience that I'm working on a computer. Okay. So that was how I was selected, because there were very few people who knew how to, work with computers, work on computers, or know the softwares. So that was my beginning. Now, at that point of time, I don't think so. People were talking about, deforestation. People were talking about flooding of the areas, but nobody was talking about the temperature changes, which is, the Earth's, the whole globe's, planet's temperature has changed, and the kind of, sea level is rising. This was not discussed at that point of time. It was not even made, a kind of a call for everyone at that point of time that we all should be participating in it. So it was expected, or it was something, discussion within the boardroom. So discussion with the intellectual or, academia was happening, that too on a very, very higher level. But the difference today is we are experiencing it, we are seeing it, the kind of rainfall we are having in those areas which never used to have rainfall at all. So monsoons were, hardly having any rainfall. Now those areas are flooded. Now, where there used to be a Cherrapunji area, like there used to be highest rainfall, but it does not have a highest rainfall from last maybe a decade. So these changes, the evident changes, were not there. So that has changed. We have not experienced something like this, which is at, three cities I can talk about. One is Shanghai, one is, Delhi, and there's another high pollution city in US. So these were not there. The, highly polluted cities, they were not marked out. Now they are, available right in our hand. When we look at our weather app, it is available. We can see, oh, this is the highest polluted city right now, due to sandstorm, or due to, whatever pollution we are creating by our own, industrialization, or the vehicles we are using. So these, tools were not there. So this is a big change. The awareness is very high. It's like almost 100% now. And when I started, that point of time, awareness was just like a boardroom talk. That too on a very high end, or a very, limited people, very, very limited people. So very intelligentsia was only discussing it. It may happen. So what they have thought will happen in 100 years, we have actually done within 30 years. So we are fast, doers. So we have done the job which was supposed to be done in maybe 100 years or 150 years. We have reached within 30 years. So now when I look at today's situation, environment is very much in our hands. It is very much triggering, and it is all the time, telling us the temperatures when we see on our apps. Earlier, it used to only be in the newspaper. One small, column used to be there. The temperature is this, and sunrise will be this, and this is the rainfall and all that. But nowadays, we can on a tip of our finger, we can see what is happening across the globe. So that's the change, and that should bring a lot of alertness in every individual, that what we have done to the environment. So at the same time, when we look at it at a policy level, governments are awakened. They have started talking about it. There are policies which are made, that is there. which was not, primarily that point of time like a kind of addition or a kind of a preventive method you were doing. Now it is no more a preventive method. Now we have to do it on a beforehand, kind of a precautionary map. We are now we have already done it, but now whatever we are trying to do, we should be doing it at a precautionary level. So instead of preventive, we should be doing it, much before that it happens. But it has already happened. But still, the policies are on the precautionary level. That what we should be doing to avoid things. That has changed. At the same time, a lot of corporates have started. Not only they have thought about it, they have implemented so many policies, so many CSR activities, which are actually on ground. They are making impact. So that's the change. Earlier, CSR activities, I remember Indian Express used to have, related to pollution and related to, planting tree. In 1994-95, I believe, they used to have that kind of initiative. So, so those organizations were aware about it. So they were talking about pollution. But now I think every government, every institution has a mandate that they have to have CSR. And that CSR is, now right now, most of the CSR are triggered towards, climate or, any kind of, waste management. These are the two areas which I see the maximum organization, they are doing the CSR. Third area which I see is the women health and hygiene. That is the third area which has been, picked up very seriously. So if I look at sustainability person, which I have learned during whatever the span I'm into, I see the 17 SDGs have been, one of the key pointer nowadays. Some of the corporates are doing towards education, but yes, education for the early childhood is there, somewhere adult education was there. But yes, climate is one of the major, CSR point which I see nowadays. So that's the change in the scenario from just knowing it to acting upon it has definitely improved the situation.
So since all of this was happening on the climate front, you have been making your mark in being a coveted professor and a subject matter expert at one of the biggest institutions in India. And you have been someone who has always been a part of your students and mentees' lives. What lifestyle changes do you think can they make in their life to mitigate climate risks in their life?
I'll give in pointers. Very simple thing. One is that for girls and boys, stop buying clothes if you don't want to wear them. So please go back and review your, or do a peer review for each other, that how many clothes you generally wear and how many are in your cupboard. So it will reduce two things. One, that, and please read in the Google that, or, Google this particular thing, that how much pollution or what kind of damage we are doing to our, environment when a piece of cloth is created for you, be it a frock, be it a t-shirt, be it a jeans. One is that. If you know that, you will never buy things which you are not going to wear. So one is that, stop buying those, clothes which are just trendy and you want to buy, but you don't want to wear it. Or if you're keeping those in, your cupboards, kindly donate them, let them be used for somebody else. Regarding the clothing also, I would like to urge all my, listeners and your youth that kindly use your clothes to the maximum, which our, earlier generation used to do. So if I'm wearing a kurta, after a while, if I, it's fading away, or it is, maybe 20 years, 30 years down, it is not worth it, I should use it as a, maybe a cushion cover. And then from cushion cover, I'll make it to a, maybe a chair cover. Or maybe from a chair cover, I can use it for some other, maybe a small, pouch or something, because it's a silk what I'm wearing. So that should be done. So I'm saying that expand the life of textile which you are using, okay, into multiple ways, and cover that as much as you can. Second, another thing I would like to talk about textile, try to use, handmade and handloom textiles. Those are, because their organic colors are used, so you are damaging this environment very less. So why I'm emphasizing on the clothing is because I think the clothing is one of the largest, thing which is impacting the environment, going into the landfills. We know that, other metals are going, but look at just the amount of clothes one person buys, one individual buys, you can imagine the kind of landfills we are creating. And for the future, we are, what we are creating right now. So that is one of the very important, my suggestion which will go. And not to buy many clothes, extend the life of your clothes, and buy handlooms and, handmade clothes. Also, trust your side by Darji tailor. Ask him to stitch it, because they do it with the traditional materials, and that's how you're also sustaining livelihood of those craftsmen. So there's multiple benefits when you just go towards that. So that's one. Second is, we are going digital, very smart, very good, but do read the studies. How many servers are beneath the ocean? And what is how much damage to the ecosystem we are doing? So digital is a good tool, and use it as a tool only. Don't fancy it making a lot of Instagram, your posts, multiple Instagram posts, not required. You are not the influencer. So it's let the influencer use it the way they want to use it. So it's a social media, so use it as a social media only. Don't make it something which is very personal. So there are studies on the Google also, when it says that how much you are damaging the climate if you are using one Instagram post. So because see, finally those servers are beneath the ocean, and that is expanding. And earlier we were, by many means we were rising the ocean level or the sea level, but this is a direct, this is like killing yourself by poison itself. So you're putting your every time your 5G 4G cabling is done beneath the earth, right, beneath the oceans. So eventually what are you doing? You are, earlier it used to happen by third or fourth way, or by the peripheral activities it was done. Now it is the primary activity with which you are playing around with these beneath the earth, beneath the ocean. So you are simply triggering it immediately. It's like making your own time bombs. So kindly don't do that, please. I think these studies need to be made available to all the youth, that these two things, if you change, it will change for a while a lot. Another thing is that please eat organic food or homemade food, and that will reduce a lot of wastage of food, reduce a lot of unnecessarily roadside this waste which is happening, because people eat and then they throw it away. So a lot of waste management can be done, and of course that will be healthy. That is, eventually that will be healthy. So that's very important. Of course, students those who are living in the hostels, they can't do it, but at least whoever not is living in the hostel, try to eat at home, have the healthy food. So we need healthy youth. So that's these are my three recommendations. So less social media will make you more focused on your profession also. So like a teacher, again I'm giving this advice. So these are the three areas I want that students should be carefully treading on.
Thank you for making us aware that hyper-consumerism also causes pollution, and we might just go out and conserve things and work for conservation, but at the end, it all boils down to those basic things that we do in life. So I'm personally very curious to know, because I have known you as somebody who has extensive experience working with the Bihar Museum, National Museum, NIIT, SAARC, National Institute of Fashion Technology, and now MIT World Peace University. And what has been your relationship with work, and how do you try and achieve a work-life balance? Do you have a definition of work-life balance?
See, work-life balance has many definitions for many people. Some people, related with the time that 9 o'clock I'm in the office and 5 o'clock I'm out and I don't take my work with me. So possibly that is right. Yesterday only I was seeing that Pepsi Coke, that Naomi, the lady, the chairperson. Yeah, I was seeing her madam's, interview I was seeing, and she was talking about, if you don't make it your passion, you cannot deliver. So I live, breathe and eat. So those are, some of the leaders who we have right now, and they do live like that. And their work-life balance possibly is that they live in that particular area. But for me, as a person, I go into a role and I examine it and I try to deliver it. It's a very well thought and planned, activity. It is not something which is happening haphazard. So I do reach to places by coincidence, but when I am there, I plan myself. I look at it that what I can deliver, what I cannot deliver, and I mark those areas if I cannot deliver and how I can deliver. So my work relationship would be that, of course, I also breathe and, live in the work. That's how the dedication is. Otherwise, you do not get the results. That's what I have seen. That is also there. But yes, I do not take any, difficult time as a difficult time. I will call them challenge, and I see that what is the solution towards that. What is the opportunity I have to make it? So in recent one of the conversations, somebody asked me, you don't stick with the organization more than 3 years. Why do you do so? So I told them, generally in first year, I try to observe and understand the system and processes. And by the time 1 year, I am part of the, see, first you become an observer. So you're an outsider. Then I become an insider, and I see what are the problems, how I can, relate to them. And within a 1 year or 1.5 years, I come down to some kind of a solution which has alternate A and B, maybe C also. So I try to implement those as a solution, and as a process I create. So if the processes are not appropriate, I try to fix the processes. If there are training are required, I just suggest them the trainings. So once I do that, and one round of this implementation is done, by that time 3 years are over. So one rough dry run is done, and second successful run is done. So I have fixed that organization. So I feel my job is over and I move out. So that's my relationship with the organizations. So I try to do, that's how I work, that I would like to observe, I would like to analyze and try to fix the problems. That have been my key area. And wherever I have gone, I have tried to do in the same manners. And innovation, I add whatever innovative, learnings are coming from the industry, and I will utilize them into academia. If something is coming from academia, I will put it on the industry. So that's how I keep myself, as I told you, I keep myself open, no blinkers. So I let the information flow and implement it wherever applicable.
I think everyone should listen to this episode, because I have never heard somebody work so strategically and so well thought out. I mean, it must save a lot of energy. And I'm going to start taking this plan A, plan B, plan C, because as an individual, we really need to understand where we belong and also let go of processes and institutions. So thank you so much, Dr. Anamika. With this, we reach the end of this episode of Conversation of Change. Thank you so much for being here and giving us your time.
Thank you, Preetha, for wonderful questions. And thank you, Climate Asia, for providing me this wonderful platform. Thank you. Thanks a lot.